Hi, I'm Dishant. I'll be presenting our work on sampling-based algorithm for K-means problem. This is a joint work with Anup Bhattacharya, Professor Ragesh Jaiswal, and Professor Amit Huma. Basically, we will develop various sampling-based techniques and we will solve various problems related to K-means, various variants of the K-means problem. First, let me introduce the K-means problem. In the K-means problem, we are given a set of n data points in d-dimensional Euclidean space, and we have to find a set of K centers such that if we assign the data points to the closest center, then the sum of squared Euclidean distance is minimized. Here capital D distance denotes the distance of the point to its closest center. So note that the points which are assigned to the same center are kind of close to each other and hence they belong to the same cluster, and this gives a clustering of the entire dataset. So like the k-means problem, there is a k-median problem also. Here instead of squared Euclidean distance we take simply the Euclidean distance. So all our techniques also applies to the k-median problem. So in the entire discussion we will only take into account the k-means problem. So note that the k-means problem has three parameters n, k, and d. And like many other optimization problem, k-means problem is also NP-hard. Uh, it is nice that the problem is also NP-hard for fixed value of k and a fixed value of d. Means even if there are two clusters, the problem is NP-hard, or even if we are considering the problem in a two-dimensional Euclidean space, the problem is NP-hard. So in this work, we will discuss the constraint k-means problem. So constraint k-means problem is more general problem. In this problem, there are various constraints that are imposed on the clusters. Okay, for example, sometimes we are given some additional information about the clusters. For example, suppose we are given that these two data points must not be part of the same cluster, or these two data points must be the part of the same cluster. So these type of constraints generally appear in semi-supervised setting when some extra information is already given to us and we want to find the optimal clustering of the data set while satisfying all these constraints. So these type of constraints are also known as link and don't link constraints, which appear in semi-supervised setting. Now let us consider a different example of the constraint k-means problem. Consider this data set and suppose we cluster this data using the normal k-means as a normal k-means problem. So we will get that. Now note that the top left cluster has only 3 points and the bottom cluster has many number of points. So in some resource allocation problems, we do not want such type of unbalanced clustering. We want the data points to be distributed almost equally among all the clusters. So basically we want a clustering like this where data points are somewhat equally distributed. So this gives rise to lower bound and upper bound k-means problem where there are bounds on the cluster size, uh, where there is lower and upper bound on the cluster size of each on the cluster sizes. So basically there are various other cluster wise constraints. So like link don't link constraints, upper bound, lower bound constraints, and many other constraints which give rise to various different types of clustering formulations. So in this work, what we are going to do is that we are going to design a streaming p-task for the constraint k-means problem. Recall that the normal k-means problem is NP-hard in fixed k. So we will develop a p-task for the constraint k-means problem in the streaming setting for the same. So what are streaming algorithms? In streaming algorithms, the data points come in a form of a stream. Okay, so basically it is used when we have a large amount of data, and we can at any point of time we can only keep small amount of data in our memory. Okay, which is generally required to be logarithmic in the input size, and we can go through the data points at most constant number of times. Okay, so this is basically the streaming setting. In this streaming setting, we will show that the constraint k-means problem for most of the constraint k-means problem, we require 5 passes to the dataset. And the amount of memory that we use here is logarithmic in n, where n are the number of data points. and it can go exponential in k and epsilon. Here function here we have an additional function of k and epsilon. So the whole memory is fpt, takes the fpt amount of space, and the time that we use for every data point is also a function of k and epsilon, and also the d, where d is the dimension of the Euclidean space. So in this work, so we basically designed our techniques for the streaming p-task. We actually started with the designing streaming p-task for the constraint k-means problem. Turns out that we can solve, using our techniques, we can solve many other problems. For example, we can solve, we design streaming p-task for the outlier k-means problem. So I'll get to outlier k-means problem at the end. Likewise, there we can get a streaming p-task for binary low rank approximation problem using our set of techniques. And finally, we obtain a faster p-task for stable instances, stable k-means instances. So I will discuss the remaining three problems at the last. For now, we will focus on the constraint k-means problem. Okay, so first we will design a non-streaming algorithm for the constraint k-means problem, and then we will convert it into the streaming algorithm. Okay, so let us discuss the non-streaming algorithm. I'm calling it an offline algorithm. So there is a very nice result of Ding and Zhu. The result was later formalized by BJK. The result says that any constraint k-means problem can be reduced to the list k-means problem and the corresponding partition problem. So let me define these two problems one by one. So the list k-means problem says that find a list of center sets. Find a list of center sets. So basically, a list contains many center sets, and each center set contains k centers. So find a list of center sets such that given any clustering of the data set, there is a center set in the list that gives 1 plus epsilon approximation to that clustering. Okay, so by using this, we can handle any type of constraint k-means problem. Okay, so here note that so this look at this equation. So here the cost of cluster xi with respect to ci is at most 1 plus epsilon times of the optimal cost of that cluster, and we know that the optimal cost of the cluster uh, is actually the cost of the cluster with respect to its centroid. Okay, basically the centroid minimizes the one means cost of a cluster. Okay, so suppose we have such a list. Okay, and we it contains so many center set. So how can we find the required center set? And suppose if we find that required center set, how can we obtain the optimal clustering from that center set? So this requirement is fulfilled by the next uh, by the partition algorithm. Partition algorithm says that given a center set, find an optimal assignment of the data points to that center set which satisfy all the clustering constraint. So you have any clustering problem. Okay, so you want to design a partition algorithm for this. For example, consider the unconstrained k-means problem. Okay, so the partition problem says that given a center set, find an optimal assignment of x to c. Since there are no constraints, I will simply assign the data points to the closest center, and we can obtain the optimal clustering. So note that it's a polynomial time algorithm to assign a to find the closest center for any data point. And since there are n data points, the whole algorithm is polynomial. Okay, in n, k, and d. What about the constraint problem? Do we know partition algorithm for the constraint problem? Consider the upper bounded k-means problem. In the upper bounded k-means problem, each cluster has a constraint that not more than u centers can be assigned to a cluster. Okay, Dingenzu gave a really nice partition algorithm for the upper bounded k-means problem. So what they reduced the problem to an assignment problem where a center set to a complete bipartite graph where the left side represents the center set and the right side represents the set of data points, and the weight on every edge is the square distance between them. So I want an assignment of the data set to the data points to the center set which satisfies the constraints that each center cannot must not be assigned to more than uh, u data points. So basically, they reduce the whole thing to the flow problem. Here, note that the capacity of the edge that joins the center to the sink has so the capacity is u. Okay, this constrains that not more than u clients can be assigned to that center. So we can obtain a partition algorithm for the upper bounded k-means problem by reducing it to the min cost max flow problem. And since min cost max flow problem can be solved in polynomial time, we have a polynomial time algorithm for the partition algorithm for the upper bounded k-means problem. So suppose this is the clustering, we can easily obtain a clustering where the clusters are balanced. So Ding and Zhu also give partition algorithms for various other clustering problems, various other constrained clustering problems, but we are not going to discuss them. So let us see how list k-means problem gives a pitas for the constrained k-means problem. So I know that the optimal clustering of any, so let's consider any constrained k-means problem and suppose X star its optimal clustering. I know that there is a center set a center set in the list which gives 1 plus epsilon approximation for that clustering. So what I will do for every center set in the list, I will run the partition algorithm and take that clustering which gives the minimum cost. So that clustering will be 1 plus epsilon approximation to the optimal clustering. And suppose, so we will show that the list size of the list is some exponential function in k and epsilon. And if a constraint k-means problem has a polynomial time partition algorithm, then we can get a pitas for that constraint k-means problem with a running time which is f between k and epsilon. Okay, now we will design an algorithm for the list k-means problem. Suppose x star be the any clustering of the data set. Okay, we want to generate a list L such that it contains a center set which gives 1 plus epsilon approximation for the clustering x star. Okay, to obtain such a center set, what we will do is that for every cluster, we will separately find a center Ci which gives 1 plus epsilon approximation for that cluster. Okay, and we will do this for every cluster and hence we can generate the entire center set. Okay, so let us focus on a single cluster now. Okay, suppose this is a cluster. Suppose this is the first cluster x1 star. There is a very nice result of Inaba, Kato, and Imai, which says that if we sample 1 by epsilon points from the cluster, okay, suppose these sample points, if these are uniformly sampled points. So suppose these sample points are m, let us denote it by m. Then if we take the mean of these sample points, let us call this pseudo mean, let's call it mu p. And if we measure the cost of the entire cluster with respect to this mu p, then the cost of the clustering is at most 1 plus epsilon times of the optimal cost. So basically, uniformly sampling certain number of points give give really nice center for the entire cluster. Okay, so using this fact, now we will obtain a 1 plus epsilon approximation for any clustering. So suppose X star is any clustering of the dataset. And suppose the size of x1 star is at least n by k. So basically to apply the previous result, I need to sample 1 by epsilon points from x1 star, but I do not know where x1 star lies. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to uniformly sample k by epsilon points from the entire dataset. Note that the size of x1 is at least n by k. So there is a good probability that the uniformly sampled at least 1 by epsilon uniformly sampled points will go to x1 star. Okay, so basically there exist 1 by epsilon points among the sample points. If we take their mean, then it will be a good center for x1. So we take all 1 by epsilon combination of points of the sample points and we compute mean for each of that combination, and at least one of that combination gives 1 plus epsilon approximation to the x1 star. Okay, suppose now this was for x1 star. Suppose all the clusters have roughly the same size. So we can repeat this process for every cluster and we can obtain a center set which gives 1 plus epsilon approximation for the entire clustering. Now note that what are possible number of mu p ones are there? What are possible number of candidate centers are there for x1? Since we sample k by epsilon points and we are taking 1 by epsilon combination, so there are k by epsilon raised to power 1 by epsilon possibilities for the first center. Similarly, the same possibility is for the second center. So what are possible number of center sets? So possible number of center sets are simply k by epsilon raised to power k by epsilon. So this is our list size. Okay, this is what is desirable. So, but the point is that our assumption might not be valid in every scenario. We might not have a scenario where each cluster are roughly balanced. So the constraints can be anything. So here we use the idea of distance based sampling. So let us discuss the instead of uniform sampling, let us discuss the distance based sampling approach. Okay, so now we will discuss the distance-based sampling technique. Using this technique, we can even obtain a uniform sample from those clusters which are of small size. Okay, so in the first step of the algorithm, we actually find a constant approximation for the unconstrained k-means problem. Suppose C is the output center. Note that we can obtain such a constant approximation in polynomial time. Note that since C is a constant approximation with respect to the optimal k-means cost, it is also a constant approximation with respect to any clustering. Okay, so we will use this fact later. For now, let us analyze these clusters. Let us look at the position of these clusters with respect to this center set. Okay, so there are two possibilities of a position of a cluster. A cluster could be situated really far away from the center set, or it could be situated very near to the center set. So this is the first case in which the cluster is situated really far away from the center set, and we want to sample 1 by epsilon points from this cluster. Now what we are going to do is that we instead of uniform sampling, we are going to sample based on the distances. We are going to sample a point with the probability proportional to its square distance from the center set. Okay, since the cluster is situated really far away from the center set, so it is a high probability that many points are going to get sampled from the x1 star. And we can show that if we are going, if, but note that this won't be a uniform sampling. But if we can show that if we sample large number of points, then the distance-based sampling also behaves like a uniform sampling. So we are going to do the same thing. We are going to sample k by epsilon raised to power order 1 points. And we are going to take 1 by epsilon points. We are going to take combination of 1 by epsilon points. And we are going to compute the mean of every such combination. And we can show that at least one of those combination, one of those means are going to give 1 plus epsilon approximation to the cluster cost. Okay, now let us consider the second possibility when the cluster is situated really near to the cluster center. Now instead of sampling from the cluster, we are going to take a uniform sample from the center set. Since the cluster is situated really close to the center set, it is going to give a good approximation for the cluster. Okay, so basically, if we take a uniform sample from the center set and compute its mean, so the cost that it gives is 1 plus epsilon times of the optimal cost of the cluster, plus there is some additional cost. So this additional cost is proportional to the cost of the cluster with respect to the center, center set C, which can be further bounded by epsilon by k times of optimal cost of the entire clustering. So I'm not going into the details, but this cost can be bounded. Now again, I'm going to take 1 by epsilon combination of all the points from C and I'm going to compute their mean, and at least one of the mean is going to give me 1 plus epsilon approximation for the cluster x1 plus it's going to give some extra cost. Now, how many number of possible centers are there? Again, we are in both the cases, we have sampled k by epsilon points, and we have taken the 1 by epsilon combination of points and computed their mean. So, so the list size, since we are repeating this process k times, so list size will be k by epsilon raised to power order k by epsilon. So the list size is still a function of k and epsilon. So now let us analyze the cost of these clusters. So if you sum the cost of all the clusters, we will get 1 plus epsilon approximation for the entire clustering. So this completes the algorithm for the list k-means problem. So now let us design a streaming algorithm for the whole thing. So first let us discuss the streaming algorithm for the list k-means problem, and then we'll discuss streaming algorithm for the partition problem. So first, in the list k-means problem, we first generated a center set C, and then we did the square sampling. So note that the center set the constant approximation is already a one pass streaming algorithm for the unconstrained k-means problem. Then the d-squared sampling can be done using the concept of reservoir sampling. This is a well-known sampling technique if we are in the streaming setting. And the third thing is that after these 2 points, we have obtained the list of center sets. Now we want to run the partition algorithm for every center set in the list. So we need a streaming algorithm for that also. So note that now let us analyze the space requirement. So we will discuss the partition algorithm in a minute. So let us discuss the space requirement. So finding the center set C takes k log n space, and these d square sampling using reservoir sampling takes again fpt in k and epsilon with the multiplicative factor of log n, and we will show that the partition algorithm also takes an FPT in k and epsilon and with a multiplicative factor of log n. So overall, the space requirement is logarithmic in n into some exponential function of k and epsilon. So let us discuss the streaming partition algorithm. So let us discuss for the unconstrained k-means problem, what would be the streaming partition algorithm. So here the data points will come in a stream, and we can simply assign the point to the closest center. So we do not require any extra space here. And it can be done in a single pass. As the point comes, I just simply assign it to the closest center, and the processing time is just to compute the distance of this point to every center. Okay, and I'm going to do this for every center set in the list, and hence the processing time per data item is k by epsilon raised to power or the k by epsilon, which is proportional to the size of list. Now for the constrained k-means problem, for some of the constrained k-means problem, there is no streaming algorithm for the partition. There is no streaming partition algorithm, but for upper bounded k-means problem, this min cost max flow problem can be solved in a streaming setting. Okay, I'm not going into the details, but it can be done in two pass, and the amount of memory is again some exponential function of k and epsilon with a multiplicative factor of log n, and the processing time is again some exponential function of k and epsilon with a multiplicative factor of d. Okay, so let us summarize all the results that we got for the list k-means problem. So basically, we will use the same techniques for the various other problems that we left earlier. So the first result is that for any t clusters, x1 to xt, we can generate a list L of center sets such that one of the center set gives 1 plus epsilon approximation to those T clusters. Plus there is some additional cost, which is T into epsilon by K times of the optimal, which is generally very small. And note that the size of the list is K by epsilon raised to power order T by epsilon. So, and the next important result that we got here is that in streaming setting, we can do this entire process in two passes. So we can generate this list in two passes. In the first pass, we find a constant approximation to the unconstrained k-means objective. And in the second pass, we do the discrete sampling using reservoir sampling technique. And the space requirement is again logarithmic in the input size, multiplied by some function of exponential function of k, epsilon, and t. So we will apply these techniques to various other problems. Okay, so time is limited. So first, let me just quickly state the main results for the remaining problems. For the outlier k-means problem, we give a p-TALS we give a p-TALS in the streaming setting that takes three passes through the dataset, and the space requirement is again logarithmic in the input size multiplied by some exponential function in k, m, and epsilon. For the binary low rank approximation problem, this problem can be converted to the constrained binary k-means problem. And again, we show a streaming algorithm for this, streaming p-TAS for this problem, which take four passes through a data set, and the space requirement is given uh, in this equation. And finally, for the separable instances, for beta distributed instances, we improve the running time of the previous algorithm of Avasti, Blum, and Shefet. So the improvement in running time is given again in these equations. So yeah, so these are the three more problems that we tackled. Thank you.